Because we are unable to gather in person today as a community to remember those we lost on September 11th, 2001, I wanted to share some remarks with everyone virtually. Today is yet another blue sky day, reminiscent of 19 years ago, when out of that blue sky, planes turned into bombs, wreaking both physical and emotional havoc on our world. We mourn the loss of thousands who died on September 11th, 2001. We remember where we were, who we were with, where our family members were, who we spoke to. I still vividly remember I was on my way with my 3-year-old in tow to my friend's house in Mount Kisco for a play date. I stopped by Jean-Jacques in Millwood on my way. I bumped into a friend of mine whose husband had called her to tell her about the Pentagon. It seemed ominous, but strange, and something that could not be. I dismissed it as a mistake. When I walked through the front door of my friend's house with my pastries and my smiling baby, the first image I saw was of the first tower burning, then the second. Her husband was upstairs, and they were sharing whatever news reports they were hearing with one another. I remember thinking the director at Briarcliff Nursery School had said it wasn't good to expose little children to news that could frighten them, making me concerned about sharing the images of the raging fires and burning towers with our young children. Little did I know how this event unfolding before all of our eyes would become a completely transformative experience, forever marked in their growing minds, their collective consciousness, and shaping their daily lives. I called my husband, who worked in Midtown and commuted via Metro North. He had just made it to his office before they closed everything down. They were trying to get the news. They went up to the roof of their building at 40th and Madison to look downtown to see what they could see with their bare eyes. My sister worked for AT&T in their downtown building. She and her colleagues were running through the streets. They didn't know to where. She still remembers seeing people jumping from the twin towers, which were burning. But what I remember most, as does my husband, sister, and both my sons, who are now in their 20s, is that out of this tragedy came incredible resilience, and our love for each other shined through. First responders running toward tragedy instead of away from it, a still beautiful and vibrant New York rising from the ashes. And still today, we see another generation of firefighters and emergency service personnel, healthcare workers, and New Yorkers who were inspired by the heroism they saw then, that of their own families, or who may have just been told about it by us witnesses from September 11th, 2001, who are now themselves looking to be helpers when they are needed most. Today, our flags have remained at half staff for 6 months as we face another unimaginable tragedy. We remember the nearly 200,000 lives lost since March. We honor the memories of those caught off guard, this time not by an act of terrorism, but by a deadly disease that caught us all unaware and laid us flat as we ran, hid, isolated. This time, we are not able to stand elbow to elbow, but must remain at a distance, so difficult to do when all we want to do is to be together. In 2001, we relied on our essential workers and emergency service providers to step in, step up, take the lead, guide us, save us, while most of us ran to safety. And they did, putting themselves at risk, running to the heart of the disaster to save others. Many of these heroes were unknowingly putting themselves at risk for health struggles for decades to come. We remember and honor those we lost over those years, as well as who suffered the consequences of the risks they took to save others. And today, we have relied and continue to rely on people in these same professions to protect us, as well as others. Once again, our community members, our volunteers, healthcare workers, and so many other essential workers knowingly put themselves at risk to help others, save lives, and meet our most basic needs. We will remember how we physically separated ourselves from everyone, including loved ones, how the world got quieter, how vulnerable we felt just walking outside the house, not at all unlike those days 19 years ago. Again, we see how out of unspeakable tragedy comes incredible bravery and resilience. Our community of Ossining, we as New Yorkers and Americans, always step up for one another and help where we can. We are all in this together, even when we must remain apart. Our memories of these past months will be part of our collective consciousness forever, and the dedication of emergency service workers and other essential workers has been once again inspiring and unwavering. This year's anniversary of the September 11th attacks is unlike anything we have ever experienced before, and certainly that we hope we will not have to ever experience again. I hope we all will take the time today to reflect on the importance of this day, hold our loved ones close, and aspire to honor and emulate the everyday heroes around us, especially during these most difficult times.